Alright, hello and welcome back to another Dark Magician deck profile. I said there'd be another one, and we're taking a look at a slight variation of my last one today with some changes here and there. So I'm not going to spend, too much time going over this because I do have one where I've previously explained everything, but I'll explain the changes and such. So starting things off, we have obviously 3 copies of regular plain vanilla Dark Magician. Not much to be explained there, you pretty much need him in hand for the deck to work, so we're maxing out on him. Now we've actually cut Magician of Dark Illusion down to 2, I believe he was at 3 last time, but I kind of made the change of him down to 2 because he is very good, and he's good in certain situations where, say, you have a soul in the circle but no magician in hand. As long as you can activate a spell trap on their turn, you can summon him and still, resolve circle from there and things like that. But you really don't want to be seeing 3 of him, so I kind of put him down to 2, and it's been working pretty well from there. So I think that's kind of the spot I'm going to be keeping him at. Now we still have 3 copies of Apprentice. She's now fairly easy to get out of the new decks, so not much of a problem there. And we still have the 3 copies of Magician's Rod because the card is very good. You'll see in some of the replays I use this to where, I don't even care if they blow up my soul because I can just get something new next turn. And the way that it can recycle itself works out very well indeed. And for our final monster, we have 1 copy of Tuning Magician as a target for Magician's Navigation. Now the effect of this is basically when you summon it, you take 400 and your opponent gains 400, but it's a level 1 Dark Spellcaster tuner, so we can summon it off of Navigation to go into some level 7 and level 8 synchro plays, which I don't find myself doing very often, and it's generally not super great. But I like to have a little gimmick in my deck, so we're just running the 1 copy of that. Half the time you'll just, tribute it for knowledge or for illusion magic and things like that, but we're rolling with it anyway. We still have 3 copies of Circle, 2 copies of illusion magic because I still don't want to see 3 of that card. There's a lot of time where I don't even want to see 1 of it, but so we're still rolling with 2 of that, 2 Eye of Timaeus, and 1 Dark Magic Attack to search off his soul. And we've changed to 3 Allure, 3 Duality, and 3 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm not running Secrets in Blue Boy like the 1-2-3 ratio, and that's because I don't actually own these, so in real life, I'm using Wonder Wands in place of these. So I don't want to get used to using something I don't have, but it's been working out fairly well anyway. It's just a Wonder Wand that can't be popped, basically. But obviously there are some changes you can make to fit more spellbook stuff into the deck. Moving on from there, we have 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. That's the same as last time. And we can move on to the traps. We still have 3 copies of Navigation, 3 copies of Soul, and now we have 2 copies of Strike and 1 copy of Warning. I can't remember if that was the same in the last list. I believe it was. So the biggest changes are, cutting Magician of Dark Illusion down, throwing Tuning Magician in, and kind of changing up the ratios on draw cards and such. Now, speaking of Tuning Magician, we also have a whole bunch of extra monsters down here that you could also use in place of Tuning Magician. Now, Nice and Sorcerer and Delg filled the same rule, where on Special Summon they can banish 2 cards in your opponent's grave, but it's a win effect, and it's so it has to be the only thing resolving. Which means if you want to resolve a Circle or an Apprentice or anything else, you won't be able to use Knights and Sorcerer or Delg's effects. So you'll have to, give up a Circle Banish or something like that off of your Navigation to be able to resolve these effects, so I haven't found them as useful as they could be. Astrograph is a target for Navigation just for some rank 7 plays, and if something is destroyed, you can just special summon him from your hand. So he's basically just a free level 7 special summon. He's a dark spellcaster, so he fits in well with the deck, but it's not ideal, it's just a little extra you could have. We have 1 copy of Mutant Mind Master, which is basically like a really shitty F-Zero that you can special off of Navigation, but the only problem is most of the time when you're using Navigation, you're using it in a way to set yourself up, or in a defensive way rather than an offensive way, so special summoning an offensive card off of it isn't usually the best thing, so I never find myself using it that much. 1 copy of Doomstar because it can hit Pendulum Scales and kind of replace the cost for itself, and 1 I actually forgot to pull up here. Oh god, hang on, I got this. Oh no, that's not. Okay, yeah, just ignore that. I could edit that out, but we're gonna roll with it. 1 copy of Endymion because you can use him to ditch dead spell cards in your hand, like dualities you don't want to use anymore, or illusion magics to pop 1 card on the field. and I probably found myself getting the most use out of him out of all of these generally. You could also run Effect Veiler in place of Tuning Magician as some disruption, and also a level 1 tuner. You could null summon to still make the level 8 and level 7 synchro plays, and you could use things like 1-for-1 and other ways to get him out for that as well. So moving on to the extra deck from there, we'll start off with the usual stuff. So stuff that's pretty much the same. We have the 1 copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight still. I can't remember if he was at 1 or 2 in the last one, but he's down to 1 since there's really no searchable way to summon him. Oh, that's another one. You could also run Trump Witch. Oh, come on. There we go. You could also run Perform Pal Trump Witch as something to special off of Magician's Navigation, because you can actually tribute her to add a Poly, and you can use her and, where's he at? An Induck, the World Chalice Dragon. So basically, you can use Navigation, special Trump Witch, and a Dark Magician. You can turn the Dark Magician into an Induck, tribute her to grab a Poly, and then get another Dark Magician out and actually poly those two into the Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, kind of manually there without Eye of Timaeus. The only problem is it's resource heavy, and Scout comes up from a slash. But the only problem is it's resource heavy, and you already have to have a Navigation and a Soul set up, so you already have to be set up fairly well for that to be going off. That's the problem with a lot of these other targets for Navigation, is you have to be set up fairly well already instead of using the Navigation to actually set yourself up for future Soul plays and such. And that's why they really don't come in handy most of the time. But going on from there anyway, we still have 1 copy of Ebon, 1 copy of Flare Metal, 1 Dracossack, and 1 Big Eye for our rank 7s. We cut the rank 6s down to just 2, just our defensive ones in Norito and Photon Strike Bouncer, 1 for monsters and 1 for spells and traps to negate them. 1 Break Sword just in case we get 2 copies of Magician's Rod onto the field, and for our synchro targets we have Beals, Omega, and Arcanite Magician. Now the real reason I wanted to put Tuning Magician in this is because I wanted to make Arcanite Magician because it's 2 free pops and then rank 7 fodder. And that's happened like once before. And again, it's like one of those things where if you're resolving that, you're probably already winning. But there's still some tinkering to do, and I still want to find a way to make it more viable. But these are the synchros we're running for our 1 tuner. And for some links, we're running the usual kind of like Decode Talker package in Proxy Dragon and Decode Talker. We also have a Link Spider because we can just turn a Dark Magician into that. So you can use some things where, say, you just have 1 Dark Magician, a Circle, and a Soul. You can just turn the Dark Magician into a Link Spider so it's ready engraved, so you can bring it back off the Soul, so you can still get your Circle banished, things like that. Also, obviously you can just go Link Spider to Proxy Dragon, and then instead of just going to Decode Talker, we also have the Ningirsu as an option because it's fairly easy to bring both of these out, and Ningirsu can actually have some offensive capabilities besides just attack power, whereas Decode Talker's, only offensive capability is attack power, although he does have a good defensive aspect to him, so we really just have 2 options for our ending Link monsters right here. Anyway, that does it for another look at Dark Magician, so let's go ahead and get into the replays to show it off. Alright, so we're going second down here up against ABC, and as you can see, we open the Tuning Magician in 2 dualities, so it's not looking super great, although we have our Magician's Penis, so, I can't say it with straight. Magician's Rod is Magician's Penis. Let's just put that out there right now. But we have our Magician's Rod, so we have a chance to set some things up. We can get lucky off the Circle, so we can still get set up here. Although he's going to prevent that from happening by going into everyone's favorite card, Bagooska. Everyone, yeah, we all love that card, right? So we'll duality into the Eternal Soul, so we'll have that ready. We'll go ahead and set up a Cyclone, a Soul, and set the Tuning Magician. Because it's just some defense, if he doesn't out it, because most people wouldn't want to change this to attack. We could obviously just, flip a face up next turn, null summon the Dark Magician, make a level 8 synchro from there. Even though it really doesn't matter because we could just normal it and then special off Soul and do the same thing, it's a little bit of defense just in case he manages to go off or something. So we'll go ahead and set up Destrudo here. It ended up being a weird, I don't know why he got rid of the Bagooska before he was ready to go off here, but he went ahead and Foolish the Destrudo, made normal summon the bee and made a Proxy Dragon, which I really didn't understand that play. He's going to go ahead and pass it over to us. So now we're going to actually, let's go ahead and play. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set up for the level 8 synchro play here. as what I was planning on doing, but off of the Magician, yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll grab circles since we already have soul set up. And off of the circle, I revealed, as you can see, I revealed a Solemn Warning. So I could have actually made the Love-Light Synchro, or I could have gone Pot Duality to grab the Solemn Warning, and knowing that he was basically about to have a Buster, off of like what he had in hand and what he had engraved and everything, keeping track of that, it was better to go for the Solemn Warning than for an Omega or something. So I went ahead and gave out my special summoning to grab the Solemn Warning. So we'll go ahead out the Proxy Dragon, which will let him give us extra monster back, but if we didn't, he could just null summon, you know, Link from there and Decode Talker, then have a Decode Talker and a Buster Dragon. So we'll go ahead and swing over that. We'll go ahead and set up our Banish here with Circle and some Magicians in hand. Now he's going to go ahead. Interesting thing here is he saw me at the Solemn Warning, yet he's still going to go ahead and Twin Twisters the Eternal Soul and this one here. I figured he'd go for the, you know, obvious Solemn Warning set. And instead he goes for the Soul and hits our Cyclone, so we'll just go ahead and grab the copy of Dark Magic Tact to get a little bit out of that before it goes. And then, as you can see here, it really doesn't matter because, you know, we can just tribute the Dark Magician to add Rod back, so next turn we can null summon Rod, you know, grab something else and keep going from there. He's going to go ahead and use Destrudo and make like an Ancient Fairy Dragon and grab C and Special C, and then he's going to go into another Proxy Dragon from there. I don't know why he really liked going into Proxy Dragon, but he really liked going into Proxy Dragon. So we're just going to go ahead and keep going, null summon Rod, grab another circle, so if he, you know, Buster banishes one, we still have the other one. And I'm going to go ahead and out the Proxy Dragon here, even though he can make Busters, because I have a Strike and a Warning. So even if he can make 2 Busters, I'm not worried about what he's going to be doing, because I can just stop both of them. We have a Banish, we have a Solemn, and a Strike. You know, we're set up and ready to go. So whenever he activates the Hanger, we'll banish that to stop him from gaining any extra advantage. And now he can make 2 Busters, but we'll go ahead and Solemn one of them. He's going to bury off from a different dimension, put 3 back. He's going to make another Buster, but we're not going to bother striking that one because he can't resolve the effect. So it's really not doing anything to us. And then if he goes to tag out, we can just strike it then and he has nothing left. So we're actually going to go ahead and attempt to banish the A Assault Core here, and then whenever he goes to tag out, we're just going to go ahead and strike that. Then we have a Navigation, 2 circles, and a Soul. You know, this one card he gets isn't going to save him. Obviously, he's going to set that. We're just going to go ahead and banish that. And we're not going to be a dick. We're just going to go ahead and swing directly for game there. Now, this one is more interesting, and this one is against Jack Knights up here. You could probably just hear me kick my desk. Whatever. We're rolling with it like we always do. But yeah, and Jack Knights is very interesting because you have to play against it in a very interesting way where you want to keep, you know, just 1 card in each column, and it's just very weird and interesting to play against, especially with Dark Magician. There's already some weird things you have to do with Circle being on summon. You can't chain directly to stuff. You have to be preemptive about it. And it ended up being a very interesting matchup. So we'll go ahead and roll it here. So with Duality into the... We're going to grab the Cyclone just because that way we can have a circle set up so we can have a Banish for anything, a Banish for a spell and trap, and a monster negation so we can stop a monster, a spell, and at least another one of either or. Now, I was presuming here, instead of just specialing the Grinder Golem to get, you know, things in columns, I was presuming he was going to go for the Hold Degenerate kind of combo thing with Akashic Magician. So I wanted to hold the Strike for that, but this would have actually got him 2 more Jack Knight cards in hand, and that is a lot of advantage that I don't want him to have. So I went ahead and used the Strike up on that there. He'll go ahead and use that, which will grab another one to hand. And he can make a Link Kariba off the token, which will net him that one, which can pop a back row by banishing 1 from grave. But it's a navigation, so we'll just go ahead and chain that there. And we're going to go ahead and get the Circle Banish, get the Rod effect, and get the Apprentice effect. But he's going to Cyclone the Circle, so we have some interesting chain links going on here. But again, I'm not really caring much what he's doing. He obviously got rid of our Circle, but we have, you know, Magician's Rod, so we can grab another one next turn, hopefully grab a Soul or a Navigation off of that. So we're still looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and swing over the Grinder Golem, set 1, and we'll go ahead and Cyclone that. A good snipe there on Solemn Warning, and as you can see, we got the Soul, so we can just grab a Circle and be ready to set up again. We'll go ahead, swing a Link Kariba once, it'll do its effect, we'll go ahead and swing at it again. and get that bugger off the field. We'll go ahead and use Knowledge, tribute our Magician's Rod. Go ahead, we have a soul in a circle, so we're set up and ready to go once again here, because again, just Rod every turn coming back and back, but you keep setting yourself up very damn well. He's going to go ahead and do some stuff here. Now he's going to make the Link 3, and if he doesn't have anything in these zones, I can't target it, and interestingly, whenever I activate Soul, I'm obviously planning that he's going to special something into those zones, and then I can banish that, because then I can target it, and he doesn't. I don't believe it has to special in those zones. Yeah, don't believe it in this code's column. Yeah, I don't believe it says it has to go to its zones or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and special one in its zone, so we can go ahead and out the Link 3 there. And obviously that one can blow up our Eternal Soul, but again, we grabbed our Magician's Rod back to hand once again, so it doesn't matter. I knew that was going to happen, and I let it happen because we can just set ourselves back up with Rod anyway, and we have, massive advantage over him here. We have 6 cards to his 2. So even though we can't do anything directly on our turn, it doesn't really matter. And again, we're going to take even more of his advantage by getting rid of that with some lucky draws there. So again, we're just going to go ahead and set up our Soul. Or actually, no, we're not going to set up Soul because he's the one that can pop that. So we're actually going to grab Navigation because it doesn't matter if he pops that. We have 2 circles. Doesn't matter if he pops those. We still have one of those. So we're set up well to really counter anything he does. Obviously, he'll go for that. Bait the Navigation out. We'll go ahead and bait out the effect of the Lavender Dusk here. So kind of make that go off early. And again, he can swing over this and tribute summon, but again, he's just not doing much. He doesn't have enough resources to get over everything we've set up, and we can just go ahead, activate our Magician of Dark Illusion effect, banish the one he has on field, and swing pretty easily for game from there. Alright, so that'll do it for our second look at Dark Magician here, and it's slowly growing to have a lot of different options, and probably at some point we're going to have a shit ton of different builds on here. I'm working on a Pendulum Magician one, I'm working on a couple different ones, so expect even more of it in the future on the channel. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.